When it comes to remastered titles, we are often treated with a simple 4K texture pack with a few minor improvements. However, EA and Petroglyph Games alongside Lemon Sky Studios took the 25-year-old game and improved it in every way you could imagine, while still keeping the core elements of what made the franchise so popular. Back in 1995, the now defunct Westwood Studios created a real-time strategy game that would go on to redefine much of what we see in strategy titles today. Even though their first RTS was within the Dune franchise, Command & Conquer was their own creation with unique characters, a more modern setting, and a soundtrack that would still remain as one of the best soundtracks in video games. Known today as Command & Conquer Tiberian Dawn, they followed up a year later with Command & Conquer Red Alert, set in an alternative history with time travel, and was intended to somewhat tie in with Tiberian Dawn. Each game also had expansion packs added to it and began a franchise that would last for years to come. Now that the quick history lesson is out of the way, Command & Conquer Remastered Collection includes both Tiberian Dawn as well as Red Alert and their expansion packs plus the console-specific missions. There is a lot to unpack in this collection, and all this for only $20. Using much of the original code, EA teamed up with Petroglyph Games, who was created from many of the core staff at Westwood Studios, and not only did they rebuild many of the assets to a 1:1 scale, but all of the original footage was upscaled and does a fair job, but some videos definitely shows its age.
So, you're the new addition to the Brotherhood. Well, I'm Seth. Just Seth. From God to Cain to Seth. I am his right hand, and I have a task for you. This is Nakumba, and he is causing the Brotherhood much grief. His views do not coincide with ours, and that makes him dangerous. Silence him.
What made Command & Conquer stand out was its FMV or full motion videos. In between missions, you'd be briefed in on what has been happening in addition to story cutscenes, and although the live action footage looks incredibly well, the CG ones doesn't look too good in certain areas. I was initially hoping they would remake many of these CG scenes, but understandably that would be more timely and most certainly costly. Command & Conquer is actually a fairly straightforward game. There is a campaign mode which you can choose from two factions, usually good guys and bad guys, that being GDI and Nod for Tiberian Dawn, and Allied or Soviet for Red Alert, and in between you have options to choose where to go with your next mission. You also have Skirmish Modes, which you can battle it out against an enemy AI, as well as multiplayer in addition to quick match 1 versus 1. Although I've had some significant trouble with multiplayer, that being disconnections and incredible lag issues, I'm very happy that they included this. You also have a mission select screen where you can replay any of the missions from the campaign, in addition to the expansion missions, secret ones, and those console-specific missions, that being those found on PlayStation and N64, which is on PC now for the first time ever.
Ants? Is this some kind of a joke? You got ants in your pants, call an exterminator. I'm on vacation. What? How big? Casualties? What do you mean the southern perimeter's been compromised? Listen up, soldier. If we lose England, it's not going to be to a bunch of pinko ants. I don't care how big. Look, I don't care how you do it, son. I'd piss on a spark plug if I thought it'd do any good. You just tell your men to get out there and kick some ass.
The map editor is also included, which allows a user to create maps for both Tiberian Dawn and Red Alert. The editor can be a bit complicated at first, but once you play around with it, you'll easily learn the ways of creating a map where you start off with endless credits. If you don't feel like creating your own, user-created maps are found by the hundreds on the Steam Workshop, and speaking of this, EA also released the source code for modders to create mods for both games. This is huge because not only will we see some incredible mods and campaigns coming out of the community, but it'll extend the lifespan significantly. However, if you are purchasing the game on Origin, then it might be a bit more difficult to get those mods active on that platform. All of this can be played in glorious 4K, even in its original form. You see, with the remastered graphics, by simply pressing spacebar, you can switch between legacy mode and remastered mode. This gives you a clear indication of just how much has changed, and it really blew my mind the first time I did it. However, after a couple of hours, I just stuck with the remastered visuals, but every now and then I tap the spacebar to see the difference. Speaking of improvements, the soundtracks. Command & Conquer already had an amazing soundtrack, but they decided to give us not only a remastered soundtrack, but Frank Klepacki and the Tiberian Sons re-recorded many of their tracks, which is also included in a new jukebox, which allows you to mix and match any track you want to, therefore you can listen to any song from any game at any time. Additionally, they also added a zooming in and out function, something you didn't really see in the original title, and they also completely reworked the sidebar. Now you can queue up units 5 at a time by holding in shift, and all of the tabs has been recreated from the ground up. The world map and mission select screen has also been recreated, which just looks clean and crisp compared to the original. For the icing on the cake, Jim Vasella, producer, looked long and hard for the original FMVs and found all of the original behind the scenes footage and included those in the bonus gallery. Those are unlockable as you progress through the game, completing missions and objectives on various difficulty levels, and seeing those unreleased footage just brings a huge smile to my face.
The threat of Tiberium differently. They see a scientific anomaly, a curiosity. I see the future. In their stubborn ignorance, they continue to work to forestall this future.
Nostalgia aside, does it hold up to today's standards, and was there any issues I experienced? I played the game both on Origin as well as Steam. One key was provided by EA and the other I had bought myself, and although my experiences were very similar, the version I installed on my SSD ran significantly better. Upon initial launch, I had incredible framerate issues. It was only for the first couple of minutes, and essentially it felt like the game had to unpack itself, but it was still a jarring experience. As mentioned, I haven't played multiplayer that much, simply because it doesn't work that well. EA did release a statement saying that they are working on an update for this and provided a workaround for framerate drops, so there are still some minor issues in addition to many others complaining being unable to launch this game at all. Since Petroglyph used the source codes for the remastered games, the original AI pathfinding issues still remains. On the one hand, it was funny seeing the old AI issues crop up on the remaster, using basic ways to essentially trick the AI, but on the flip side, it was really frustrating seeing your unit struggling with the basic movement command, something countless other RTS titles can do perfectly well. Command & Conquer Remastered Collection is by far the best remaster I have ever played, and not only did it bring back countless memories of me skipping school only to play more missions, but it is a game that reminded me of why I fell in love with video games in the first place, and one that will hopefully bring EA and Petroglyph to remaster a few more in the franchise and maybe bring us a completely new next generation Command & Conquer title. It is an incredible collection, and as previously mentioned, all this packaged for only $20. Despite some minor framerate issues and online troubles, Command & Conquer Remastered Collection is by far worth buying on day one. If I'd had to put a score on this, then I'd easily give it a 9.5 out of 10. I'd like to thank EA and Prima Interactive for providing me with a review key, and for more Command & Conquer, check out the rest of my channel. If you like this video, then give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, then give me a thumbs down, but please tell me why so I can improve my videos. My name is Frank, I'm the RedTieGuy, and frankly, thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next video.
Upgrade complete. Welcome back, Commander.